Alright, so today I'm gonna be playing a little bit of Hag, and Hag isn't really a killer I play too often. I don't have the most experience on her, but I do know the general idea of what you want to be doing with her for the most part, so I'll definitely be going over that a little bit later on. I have a pretty basic build. As you can see, my Hag doesn't really have that many perks available, unfortunately. So I have a pretty basic, just standard build. Whispers is really great for figuring out where survivors are early on, and towards the end of the game as well. As whenever they're within 32 meters of me, Whispers will click on in the bottom right, and I'll be able to tell when a survivor might be in a general area or not. I have Devour Hope here, and don't get me wrong, this isn't part of the Devour Hope Chronicles just yet. I'll make a Hag video for that later on. But Devour Hope synergizes really well with my next perk as well, Make Your Choice, as both these perks make you want to be far away from the hook whenever somebody gets unhooked. Now, Hag is one of the killers that can really take advantage of unhooks if people aren't careful, because of how she can teleport to her traps. Now, Devour Hope at 2 stacks makes you move a little bit faster after 10 seconds after you hook a survivor. That's not really what you care about, though. What you really care about with Devour Hope is the 3 tokens and the 5 tokens. As with 3 tokens, you can one-shot anybody, and at 5 tokens, you can kill a survivor. You can just mori them right on the ground, and I really hope we can pull that off, because Hag has a great mori. Make your choice whenever you're 32 meters away from the hook and somebody gets unhooked. Whoever did the unhooking is now one shot for 40 seconds at rank 1. It goes up to 60 seconds, but unfortunately I only have it at rank 1 right now. So if I can get far enough away from a hook, ideally they'll trigger the trap whenever they go to unhook, and I'll wait until the unhook happens so I can teleport there after the trap gets, or after the unhook happens, so I can get the one shot on whoever did the unhooking. And then lastly, but not least, of course, is Corrupt Intervention, and this is a great perk for killers that kind of need to set up in an area, something like Trapper, Hag, Michael, even it's even fine on slower killers like Huntress, because it allows you to know that survivors aren't going to be working on the 3 generators that are furthest away from you for 2 whole minutes. That's 2 minutes of those generators being impossible to work on. So it just gives you a little bit more time to set up and prep for when the survivors are ready to go. Now for my add-ons, I have the rope necklet, so it slightly reduces how long it takes for me to draw a trap. It makes it a tiny bit faster when I'm drawing a triangle on the ground. And the powdered eggshell means that the traps stay up for a little bit longer. This is really helpful in loops, because the longer your traps stay up, the more likely you are to be able to mind game somebody with a trap at a loop. So this will definitely give me opportunity to try and use my traps in order to down people more effectively. Okay, Shelter Woods is actually a pretty strong map for killers for the most part. It has areas that make it so. It has areas. What am I trying to say? It has few areas with a lot of pallets, and it has pretty big dead zones all around the map that allow you to try and get an easy downer and survivor. Now you might see here, I'm not actually trapping at pallets. I kind of want to trap a loop around pallets or somewhere that I might see people running to. And in the pre-game screen, I did see that there was 2 survivors in this game that had flashlights, so they're probably going to be trying to flashlight my traps whenever I put them down. So that actually leads on to a great point about how to use hab traps. You don't really want to be putting them directly where survivors might be looking. You kind of want to be using them as a similar to trapper traps. You want to generally trap an area where survivors might be running to. It's like you'll see I'm trapping choke points near generators, but I'm not trapping at the generator right away. Now, unfortunately, that's probably one of the worst of our hope spawns I could ever ask for. I think I saw someone over here, didn't I? Maybe not. But keep in mind, hag traps aren't actually like Demogorgon traps. You can move them around at free will. If you're at your limit and you end up triggering a trap, then if you're at your limit and you end up placing down a trap, you can just you can just go ahead and I heard the grass over here. If you're at your limit and you keep placing it on a trap, it'll replace the trap that you put up. Okay, now I'm gonna chase this girl in this direction. Hopefully she won't. Never mind. Yeah, I didn't expect my Javara hook to last at all. Okay, she messed up real bad there. But yeah, so you gotta keep an eye out for guys with flashlights. I lost her immediately. Jesus. Because people with flashlights are definitely going to be there to just put a stint in your plans. I saw that David crouching over to my right. Something really nice about hab traps too is they actually disorient the survivors a lot. So wherever the trap is placed, it'll... Oh, that really sucks. I don't want her to trigger that trap. So wherever the trap is placed, she'll leave. Thank you. But yeah, wherever the trap is placed, their camera will just snap back over to wherever that was. I see that person running over for the unhook, but I'm gonna go down to her instead. Hag is a very snowball-y killer. Her whole game plan is to keep pressure moving around the map, try and reset your traps over and over again, and she ends up slugging a lot because of it. I heard a Claudia over to my right over here, so no idea where she went. Okay, she kept going. But yeah, you want to keep pressure moving. You don't want to be generally moving in the same direction over and over again and trying to be predictable. With the trap's going to be super unpredictable. See, she's going to run into this one right now. And that gives me a free down onto her. Now, generally, whenever you teleport, the traps will actually be facing towards the survivor. So you can try and go for a teleport and swing right away. That'll put you in a pretty decent spot. And you'll generally get a hit on them. You gotta be careful though, because sometimes they do trigger, and it'll kind of you won't teleport to them fast enough, basically, and the survivor will kind of lose your LOS there. Now, all these traps, if you're paying attention, you'll see that they're actually meant to catch people while they're rotating. They aren't really meant to stop people at loops for the most part. That Claudia killed herself really early, which is really shitty of her. Alright, generally you don't want to be chasing like this in a straight line. Yeah, that guy's just gonna make a lot of distance off of that. Hag is a 110% movement speed killer, so you don't want to be... that's too far. We're going to teleport to him for it to be useful. Ah, man, I should have hit that. I'm going to try and make her loop this way so I can hit her with the trap. Or she's going to camp the pallet for some reason. I know this guy's around here somewhere. I don't know where, though. But yeah, with the Hag, since she's a slower movement speed killer, you don't want to be just chasing people in a straight line. You don't want to be just following them around, because that'll put you in a worse spot than if you were to just be teleporting to them over and over again. You want to corral them into your traps, a lot like the Trapper does, essentially. So that trap right there, basically my thought process is once they leave this loop, they might try and run off in that direction where I placed a trap. So ideally, somebody might get caught in it. Okay. This guy relies too much on actual set loops. So when in my looping video, I was talking about how you want to chain loops together. Right here, he should have just left that loop once he saw me swing through it, honestly. Now, I already have a trap set down there from an earlier interaction. And that puts me in a good spot, because that way, if they're surrounded friends, then they'll have no idea. I know this David is borrowed time, so I'm just going to chase this guy around a little bit, wait about 15-ish seconds. We're about 5 seconds now, so just 10 more seconds to wait here. down him. But yeah, so if you have a trap around a loop already, it's never a bad idea to hook somebody there, because that way if they're with friends, they can't really communicate, hey, he put a trap down near me, or hey, well, essentially the idea will be they won't be expecting you to have a trap nearby, and then when you do have that trap, it'll put you in a better spot. Oh, that David had Unbreakable. Nice. Teleported a little bit too slow there. That sucks for me. Okay, now I'm just swinging wildly. I'm gonna split off from her and go to the spill. Try and put some pressure on him. Ideally, that girl will trigger my trap and I'll be able to get down to hers. He's trying to break my trap through the window, but he can't do that. He's to my left. To my right now. Oh, I didn't expect him to keep going this way. Now, if he keeps going this way, he'll eventually run into that trap to his left, I think. And you saw how he started turning to the left there? That's because it snapped his camera over to the left whenever he ran to it. Now, but keep in mind, that's a trap I placed at the beginning of the game when this generator was still hit by corrupt intervention. You want to be placing traps like this. You want to be thinking all the way towards the very end of the game when you do put down your traps, because that's how you get the downs, that's how you get the hits. I don't want to trap directly in front of him because odds are they'll be crouching directly in front of him when they go for the unhook. So I want to trap around him to make sure that when they run away, that's when I'll hit them. That generator hasn't been worked on at all, and this one hasn't either. I'm gonna put down another trap next to here. Now they like taking this back way, so I'm actually gonna put a trap down here as a reaction to what way they kind of like running. And I mean, hag traps are literally infinite, so honestly, just go nuts. Whatever you want to do with them, you can go ahead and do. I think that Bill might run over to try and break my trap. I'm not sure though. If they're in towards the killer shack though, I have a great trap in there. That trap right in the middle of the killer shack is absolutely fantastic. This guy's gonna drop that pallet, double back, and I somehow didn't hit him. Right now I have this David where I want him. That was actually really smart of him to trigger that trap. Oh, but he was making a choice, right? I forgot about that. I'm gonna make sure to pick him up facing the wall as much as I can because the Bill has a flashlight. Alright. I actually have this area pretty well trapped up for the most part. But yeah, you can go absolutely nuts with your traps. If you want to be placing them in loops around where a survivor is hooked a lot of the time, or in loops around generators, because that puts you in a good spot whenever you do chase them off that hook or off the generator. Now the good thing about having make your choice at rank 1 or level 1 instead of level 3 is the cooldown is actually much shorter, meaning that I can get it back a lot faster. Now that dude killed himself on the hook, unfortunately, but that's perfectly fine. Now I know she's over there, and I can try and get the teleport off. No, she was really far. This guy's already uses Unbreakable, so I don't really have to worry about him doing that too much, but... Oh man, she's triggering her every trap. I really want to teleport. Keep in mind the traps do have a maximum range that you can teleport to. So, you gotta make sure. I don't know where the fuck she went, but the game said I was in a chase with her, and it's your scratch marks. Did she hide around this? Nope. Alright, so even though I missed that swing, okay, that's just unlucky, I guess. Even though I missed that swing, I still positioned myself in front of the window to make sure that she couldn't vault it. If she goes to the killer shack here, then she just dies, period. Or if she hides right here. I really want to try and force her into the killer shack, honestly, just so I can get the teleport hit. And they just literally ignored the shit out of the killer shack this entire game. Alright. And actually, something interesting to keep in mind, if you're going for the Hag Daily ritual, you don't actually have to get teleport hits to get it to count. As long as, if they've triggered your trap and you're close enough to your trap, when you hit them, it'll count as a teleport hit onto them. Now, she hasn't been hooked at all yet, so she has opportunity to Kobe. I'm just gonna put a trap down here just in case, because the hatch is right next to her. But this is where whispers are gonna come in handy. Okay, never mind, I can just hear him. So yeah, the general idea with Hag is you want to think 10 steps ahead. You want to be thinking where the survivor is going to be running at the end of the game. Even though I'm trapping at the beginning of the game, you saw that trap by those rocks earlier on in the game came in super clutch for me. Putting the trap at that TL wall back there was really helpful as well. You gotta think where survivor is going to be looping, where are they going to be trying to position. If I do this, if I do that. Hag takes even more brain power than Trapper in some aspects, but she's also easier to play than Trapper because of how generous her traps are, and how many she has. She has infinite traps. I can just keep setting traps if I want. If you see in the bottom left there, my little trap icon has a little arrow showing that I'm replacing the traps over and over again instead of actually changing them. So if you'll pay attention around the map, you'll see the traps start disappearing if I put them over here. Hag is honestly one of the strongest killers in the game, and people just don't really play her that often. I'm not really sure why, considering how strong she is, but I'm honestly kind of glad, because Hag's really difficult to play against sometimes, especially if it's a strong Hag. And as a survivor, I'm really glad I don't have to run into it too often. Alright, like I said, these are my perks. You can go ahead and pause it if you want to read them again. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching. If you have any criticism at all as to how I can make these videos any better, just go ahead and comment it. That'd be really helpful to me. But yeah, thanks a lot.